Multiple agencies are involved with this search for 27-year-old Veronica Butler, shown here on the left, and then we have 39-year-old Jillian Kelly on the right. It's a story that people across the country have their eye on. 4 people arrested in this case, shown right here, will make their first appearance in court today. Yesterday, the Oklahoma medical examiner identified the 2 bodies that were recovered. A person had started shooting from the outside of this club in, and take a look at the entryway here with the windows and doors, glass scattered throughout on the ground. We have a big update to a case that's been cold for nearly 7 years. Urban texted me when the latest tip on Adam's case surfaced. Both his adoptive and biological family have reached out, saying this time is incredibly painful. Absolutely, and we're able to see so much more of everything that has transpired in the past couple of hours. So much anticipation, Shane. In fact, I got my glove ready. Are you all ready for this game? Following our reports on Megan this year, there have been some developments. We've even had this anonymous letter sent to us. It was directed to me and a couple other people, including Megan's family. The National Transportation Safety Board investigated the crash. Survivors gave their account of what they saw. The town loses power, everyone's hiding, just taking cover as that tornado barrels through the city. For the first time in 18 years, Carrie sees her dad face to face. What she's learned about the cold cases, it's a Wichita TV Cake News exclusive. There's a Larry Hatterberg file.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. What is in your file?
Well, I'm scared to know.
Oh my gosh,
oh, yeah.
Look at this.
An investigation started not long after, with detectives coming out here to this property to search inside of that home, looking at computers, pictures, anything they could to find little Adam. As they searched that property in Kansas, nearly 600 miles away over here in Indiana, is where Adam's biological dad lives, and he gets a phone call. He hears from police, and then he realizes the heart-wrenching news that his son is missing, or maybe worse.
We had tried to keep this quiet and just keep working investigations because we didn't want to upset families.
Right.
And until we absolutely have an answer of like finding a body or finding evidence. The reality is like everything blew up when they dug up the yard.
It's these images that flipped yet another page in Carrie Rawson's story. This summer and spring, investigators digging into her family's old property over in Park City, trying to tie her dad, Dennis Rader, to cold cases. Mysteries like Cindy Kenny, a teenager who simply vanished from Oklahoma in the 70s. Rader was working nearby.
Kenny was abducted from a laundromat in Pawhuska, and I was like, that doesn't match my dad at all, right? Because my dad did home invasions. All of his 7 crime scenes, 10 cases, they're all home invasions. You know, and like there were 2 that he switched the MO by our house, and he did it because they were by our house, but still, they're still home invasions. And I was like, I don't think that was dad.
However, a sheriff from Oklahoma thinks otherwise. Re-examining an old journal of Rader's, he titles one entry, Bad Wash Day, writing, "The brunette was the target. I would watch the nearby laundromat for possible victim. The question, is this writing coming from fact or fantasy?" Rader claims he had attempted kidnappings before his first known victims, the Otero family. Julie, Joseph, and their kids 9-year-old Joey and 11-year-old Josie, they died in January 1974. Down in Oklahoma, the 16-year-old Cindy was last seen 2 years after that, directly across the street from where Rader was on the job.
He talks about attempted kidnappings other times. And so if you really start digging in there, there's like so many concerns.
It's a tough reality for Carrie. Writing a memoir a few years ago, facing the headline that has taken over her life, she is a serial killer's daughter. Her dad admitted to the deaths of 10 people, but are there more? That's what's brought her back to the Heartland several times this year. Detectives driving her to different places, like over in Missouri, and a moment she did not expect.
And we were driving, and we came upon this like small creek, and it was flowing pretty good, and it has like white shell rock all around it. And I go, wait, stop. I said, we fished here. I think I literally have a photo of me fishing there like around 4. Now it could be somewhere else, but it's like that really bright white shell rock, and it looks exactly like there. And I said, wait, I know I have fished this stream. And I said, that's not good. And then they go, okay, well, just wait a second. And they drive about another couple blocks, half a mile, and they turn on this old country road that's steep. And I go, I know this road. And then that's where I got real sick again. And I shouldn't know that road, right? It doesn't make any sense. And then we drive just up a little bit, and they're like, this is where Shauna was dumped.
A plot twist. Some believe her dad is responsible for the murder of Shauna Garber. The 22-year-old's body was found in the winter of 1990. She was raped, strangled, and restrained, fitting that BTK MO, bind, torture, kill. Shauna's remains were discovered not far from where Carrie says her family would visit when she was little.
When that became familiar to you, what was your feeling?
I was like not well, but I also was like, we have a dad problem. That's what I've been calling him internally.
Yeah.
I'm like, we have a dad problem. Like, you're looking at the bondage, or you're looking at the drawings, or you're matching these things, or you're like seeing a creek that you fished at that's around the corner from where a body was dumped. And you're like, okay, that's a bad dad fact. And so those are adding up.
Yet Carrie is determined to know the truth and make sure nothing was missed. Not just for her, but for all the families involved. She's been visiting prison to help with the investigations, to speak with a man she has not seen in nearly 20 years.
And now all of a sudden, it's like everything has just sort of come to this peak moment of where it was like, I'm strong enough, capable enough, I can go help.
Sitting across the table from her dad, a new chapter. A once tall, strong man is declining. No teeth, legs wrapped up, in handcuffs, and a wheelchair. Quite the contrast of the controlling dad she once knew. At the same time, realizing the person across from him is also quite different, as she continues to write her story of survival.
Going in to see my dad, it's insane, but it's also really empowering because I get time with him. We're working on these investigations. You know, at times he's very difficult and I have to get him to focus. Other times he's cooperative. Like, I hug him, he kisses me on the cheek, I say goodbye, he's in shackles, he's in a wheelchair. Like, he's tiny, he's like lost like 9 inches. It's really hard to see him. I get to choose when I go see him again, and I get to choose. And so it's like I've now taken control over that man that was in my house. You know, like, I'm the person that's tall now, I'm the person that can walk, I'm the person that's literally like in charge. KBI and FBI had to have been exhausted. They thought it was the 10 and they put him away. Were mistakes made? Maybe. Or were things overlooked? Maybe. But it also took them 31 years to catch him. He's not an easy foe. And I think he was just continually trying to play his games, and I don't think they realized that they thought he was done, and I think he was just starting new games.
Games that started not long after Dennis Rader was convicted in the deaths of 10 people. Joey, Josie, Julie, Joseph, Catherine, Shirley, Nancy, Vicky, Maureen, Dee. From his first kill nearly 50 years ago, up until his conviction in 2005, he would play with the community, writing letters and leaving behind clues. And it's that correspondence that eventually led him to plead guilty to the murders. Yet, as he ages, inside of that isolated prison cell, is he continuing to toy with the outside world? He can use a phone, electronic messaging, and mail letters, communication that his family pretty much has ignored. But his daughter Carrie Rawson tells me that his fans, they've pretty much bridged that gap.
And on top of that, he was like cyber stalking me. So he was sending like third-party people to come harass me, like on social media and email. And they're like, what's your deal? Your dad's a really nice guy. And I'm like, he's using you.
When it comes to mail, inmates like Rader can only send letters such as this. Just like one an inmate sent me from the El Dorado Correctional Facility, where he's from. They have a timestamp and a seal, and may be inspected before being sent. However, it seems like much bigger items are getting out.
I found out my dad was knotting old sweatshirts and like sweatpants that say Raider stamped on them. Mm-hmm. And like shoes were getting out. I heard gold fillings got out from a dentist. And like when something that massive is getting out of the prison, you know there's like some kind of backdoor system going on. But then what happened in 21, I got notified that my dad was signing crime scene photos, and he had signed one of Josie Otero, like taken of her after she was deceased. And somebody was sending copies of those in, and he was signing them as BTK.
She could not believe it. Those things now on the outside, getting to the hands of people online, ending up on websites like Cult Collectibles.
Letter from Dennis Rader, signed in full at the bottom, Dennis L. Rader, which is cool. You don't really see his full name signed too often.
Rader's mail and artwork are featured among the nearly 1,000 items on there. Owner Taylor James tells me that in his 6 years of operation, he's never paid any criminal.
With every item in every case, the inmate is involved, but specifically with this, Rader isn't involved in any way. Nothing's going to him. It's just somebody has these items.
More often than not, he's buying from people who simply want to get rid of stuff. And eventually those things will end up in the hands of filmmakers, museums, and collectors. Some items, like criminal trading cards, are valued at $5. Others, like this urn of Jeffrey Dahmer, are priced at $250,000. No matter the value, he knows that not everyone is sold on what he sells.
Just important in archiving parts of history that are obviously darker and some people don't want to really think about as much, a series that goes on the Netflix or a major podcast will make so much more money in advertising from that one piece of media than I think I possibly could selling this stuff for the rest of my life.
But then between 19 and 21, I was getting notified of all this stuff on the murder memorabilia black market.
Right.
It was like my dad's profiting. There's a son of Sam law that my dad can't profit off this stuff.
Carrie's convinced, though, that someone is getting money back to her dad. At one point, she says his prison bank status had close to $2,000 in it. Now, the Kansas Department of Corrections could not tell me about Rader's current financials, but they could tell me about 3 disciplinary actions against him, and all of them involve outgoing mail. In 2006, for a hidden letter. In 2019, a package with 2 teeth and nail clippings. And in 2020, a Ziploc bag with what's believed to be a lock of his hair. Carrie says her dad has asked family to sell some items on his behalf, but they have refused to do that. Not just because it's morally wrong, but also because it's illegal. Son of Sam is a law preventing criminals from profiting from their crimes. It's inspired by serial killer David Berkowitz, who used the name Son of Sam during his murder spree in the 70s. He sold his story rights, but New York lawmakers stepped in, saying he could not exploit the tragedy for a profit. If anyone were to make money, it would go to the victims. Not long after Rader was convicted, the victim's family sued him. A former attorney of the victim's trust tells me that they did agree, at least in one instance of a writer, Catherine Ramsland, being able to correspond with Rader and share his story. She tells me he never made money from the book, Confession of a Serial Killer. At least that stuff was agreed upon. But as for the items, like those autographed crime scene photos, those became too much for the survivors.
That was like the straw that broke the camel's back when I was sent that photo, because he maybe had signed it a few years before, but someone had just sent it to me, and I said, Dad, I'm done. I can't do this.
In the thick of my weeks-long research, I found a bunch of websites selling items from Rader as well as other killers. But I will admit there was a surprising twist to this all, something unexpected. I share more coming up after this break. A lot is weighing on the hearts of the family of Cody Dean Ceniceros. This is one of the last moments when he was seen. This is the day after Thanksgiving, and investigators tell me that this past week, the department executed a couple of search warrants, including over at a home where Cody went to later that day. While that search did not find anything significant, his mother looks for answers.
Night tides are really, really hard for me, especially after I get off work and pulling up to my driveway and not seeing his car there. It's just that everything just kind of overflows, because that big question out there is like, why hasn't his car been spotted? You know, where is it?
An agonizing mystery for Roxanne Ceniceros. She and her family trying to find any sign of her son Cody, who vanished 3 weeks ago.
We were trying to go through all possibilities of what might happen.
This is what they do know. On the afternoon after Thanksgiving, Cody is shown right here in this home security footage, leaving his dad's house in Spearville. He went over to see his girlfriend, and they broke up. Later, came to his mom's home in Dodge City, spoke to her on the phone, posted on social media, arrived at a different place on the south side of Dodge. Then, by 7 o'clock, his cell was turned off. His vehicle, a 99 Chevy Tracker, also gone. Police in the community are looking for clues. They've searched from the sky, on the ground, and in the water.
You know, trying to check all his spots that he likes to be out in the county roads, and we went to go check the lakes again. Community was already down, you know, the riverbed on ATVs looking for him. We know that my son loves fishing. He loves being out there with his kayak, with his bull terrier. That was just his happy spot. So the waters were something we were very concerned about.
Roxanne says she's truly touched by how many people have lifted her family up, especially as they edge close to Christmas. She wants Cody safe. She wants him home.
I mean, with something like this, I mean, I know a lot of time has gone by, but have you lost any hope or anything with this?
No, I think as his mom, I can't, just because nobody wants another outcome. You know, as a mom, the best outcome, and really truly the only outcome I want, is for him just to walk through the door and, you know, this be something of the past. So, I mean, I always keep that little hope in my heart that could be something that would happen, you know.
Oh, the old tin hut. I love it.
Here we are. It may not look like much now. amid the boxes and dust that's collected is a collection of memories.
So these files were an integral part of the early newsroom. So valuable.
Yeah. Chapters of the legacy of Cake News, tucked away here in an unusual spot in our back lot, nicknamed the Tin Hut.
There weren't many people back here, but it was a place where they could work and still do the news.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite a little operation here, but hard to believe in this day and age. When I started here, all along these walls were clips, and they had the old AP teletype here. And the clips were to hold all of that teletype paper, all of the stories that were coming over the teletype right here, because this was the news department where this lawnmower is.
Oh, no way.
And it's hard to believe that they did that out here. But back in the day, they had to, because that building wasn't built.
That's where the dream started for this legacy TV station, signing on in the fall of 1954 in this shed, eventually making its way to where it stands today.
Cake Television, KAKE TV, Channel 10, Wichita.
I hope we've had a good station that's provided news that people have been able to rely on us.
Good evening. The United States
and the European.
Inside, transformations, a radio station, iconic TV programs, plus storytelling legends like Larry Hatterberg. There's a Larry Hatterberg file.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. What is in your file?
Well, I'm scared to know.
Oh my gosh,
Oh, yeah.
Look at this. He got his start at Cake in 1963. Just a teen, eager to learn from the best.
The big picture is of me in the Cake TV and Radio Newsmobile. And back then, if you were a photographer at Cake, you also did radio reports for the radio station, because I was just a know-nothing kid. And that's what they called me. They called me the kid when I started here, because I was actually 18 years old, 1 month away from 19. So I had no experience, I had nothing. And the gift that they gave me was a career.
And you've passed on that gift to so many of us too, though. So it's so
Well,
nice.
I hope
We're
so.
so grateful for that.
Well, I hope so. You have to pass it on, you know, and if you don't pass it on, what good are you? I feel like we just walked through history.
We did walk through history. Yet, as this door closes, another opens. I think you'll love it, so.
Well, I'm sure I will. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, come through here.
Wow.
Welcome.
It's changed a lot.
Yeah.
Gee. Oh, I love this set.
I know,
That's
isn't
nice.
it beautiful?
Yeah, that's
the
very
interview
nice.
space.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Love the little touches on there. That's great.
In its earliest days, this room would have a corner to deliver the news and most of the rest for live TV commercials. The product has changed, with more news reaching homes. Now, during a time when other companies are downsizing, Cake is investing for even brighter days ahead.
This almost looks like a network.
I
type
know,
of thing,
it
you
does.
That you're walking into Good Morning America or World News Tonight, because
Yeah.
it has that vibe to it. I love it. What it is a foundation for the future for Cake TV News. And that's what makes me excited about it, because Cake TV keeps innovating, Cake TV keeps doing things above and beyond what's expected. They could have built a much smaller studio, many television stations do, but this one is just gorgeous, and it's going to serve the community very well. I know this guy.
How you doing?
Mr. Prater, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you, Larry.
How's everything going?
And while the room looks different, the heart of Cake, its staff, and the community are here.
This place is special to me. You know, you can't invest a half a century in a job, in a place, without being very close to it for the rest of your life. So those memories don't go away. They accumulate, and it's wonderful because I think about the old days and the old times. And you don't forget the people who touch your life ever.
As people scurry during the lunchtime rush, there's one place in West Wichita where things are so quiet, pretty much all you can hear is this.
Coming out here to just like draw some pictures. This is something special because we don't usually get time off because we have school and after school sports. So this is just something fun to do for the day.
So as Madison, Shaylin, and Grayson are out of school, they hope as cars zip by this busy street, maybe people will take their time and slow down.
Yeah, I really like when we use the color blue, that's my favorite color.
Not just to see the shades.
We had neon colors with white and purple.
But also the details.
Tiny pieces of the chalk, and we just blow those away.
Also, the heart of what they have to say.
Why do you like drawing with chalk?
Because you can just do so many different things with it. You can draw, make different designs.
Here, on the biggest canvas they could find, 3 kids with one message.
Live, laugh, love. Live, laugh, love. And we drew a smiley sign over there. And we just wanted to make more people like happy.
It might just cheer them up just a little bit.
Some people don't have like a lot of good days. So we just came out here to do it because there's a lot of cars that can see it.
I think this was pretty good for them.
Yet good for Grayson and his little sisters too. Making memories and maybe a difference.
It makes me feel good that we're giving them like some happiness in their day. Everybody in the world deserves to be happy and have a good day and have a smile on their face.
In Wichita, Annette Lawless, Cake News on your side.